My opinion on BRICS is a wonderful thing when the global South and Eastern Europe unites economically to help the third world develop into a first world economical multipolar block system. I would like to offer BRIC my opinion on economic multipolar world orders. In other words, the way I vision BRICS is that every country has equal purchasing power parity, meaning every currency of every member of BRICS is equally when it comes to purchasing power parity. And no one currency is in charge of the rest of the currencies. So no one currency can be pegging the rest of the currencies, like America's greenback, how countries peg with reserve status other nations' currencies. So I believe that every nation has the right to use their sovereign currencies, and for every nation to be in an equal playing field as far as the purchasing powers of their currency. So when it comes to purchasing power parity, I believe that every sovereign nation should be equally valued as far as their sovereign currencies are concerned when they buy commodities in the international markets. I'm for doing away with sanctions and tariffs. I'm for doing away for making it illegally internationally for any nation to be hit with tariffs or sanctions when it comes to their economies. So making that illegal in international law when it comes to commerce. So I want to phase out permanently the ability when it comes to economical law to for any nation to be inflicted with tariffs or sanctions. And as I see the multipolar economical order, imagine that South America and the Caribbeans have their own central banks that are sovereignly central to that region. Africa, the whole of Africa, has their central banks that's sovereign to that region. So that region controls their own central bank to develop wealth within the whole of Africa. So South America and the Caribbeans have their own central bank that are sovereign to that region that they control. That's a regional bank that belongs to that region that region controls unitely. So imagine South America and the Caribbeans with their own central bank. The whole of Africa with their own central bank. Asia, the whole of Asia with their own central bank. The whole of Arab lands with their own central banks. The whole of Eastern Europe with their own central banks. And it's sovereignly controlled by each region. And also, I'm out to get rid of like the Swift transaction. Give me a second. There's background noise. I have a dog, and sometimes he makes background noise, and it's a little bit annoying when I'm recording. But what can you do? So to get back to the topic, I forgot what I was talking about. Give me 1 second while I try to refresh my mind and reboot it to remember what I was talking about. Oh yes. So now individual nations sovereignly throughout the world, every country, they can do trading with each other, and it doesn't depend on SWIFT, the SWIFT system. So what I mean by this, every nation can barter global trade with each other in virtual accounts, virtual computer accounts that are encrypted to those two whatever nations are dealing with each other globally when it comes to imports and exports. They have digital accounts, computer accounts that is unique to their countries. So every nation can barter with any other nation when it comes to imports and exports or surpluses in trade or even deficits in trade. They can barter now independently with each other with computer accounts, financial accounts. And they're in charge of their own financial computer accounts. So no other nations, because America uses SWIFT to sanction and embargo nations and then prevent them from trading with each other. So I'm going to do away with that. I want to do away with that. So now I propose that every nation within the BRIC organizations, they can trade with each other that is off the grid of SWIFT, bypassing SWIFT. So now nations can settle accounts directly with each other. Computer accounting systems that are controlled by those individual nations. They can create their own computer systems of account, their own computer logbooks of account that are sovereignly governed and managed by the individual states as they feel fit to have accounting of accounts. So, and it's not cryptocurrency. It's just digital accounts, computer accounts, digital computer accounts, that every nation will be in charge of their own computer accounting when they engage with other nations in global trading. And like I said, I don't believe in no currency, not America's, not China's, controlling the world as the world currency. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in one nation having hegemony over the rest of the world with their currency. I want to outlaw that. So I want to make every nation's sovereign currency equal when it comes to buying and selling globally. Every nation's sovereign currencies have the equal purchasing power, and you can never devaluate them. And meaning that you can never knock down the value of their currencies. If forever will remain equal purchasing power, parity. You can't pick winners and losers when it comes to currencies by devaluating currencies up and down and playing currencies against each other, like America does with the World Bank, the IMF, the Bank of Settlements, the Moody's. They use Moody's to downgrade nations' economical debt, and then they give the currency runaway inflation by making it worthless when it comes to purchasing power. So I'm doing away with that. I'm doing away with that. I want every nation currency to forever will have the same purchasing power as any other nation on earth. Every nation has the right, when they tender their currency in faith, in good faith. For that reason, every nation has to have their currency be equal throughout the world when they engage in commerce to buy and to sell their commodity goods on the open market. So these are the initiatives that I am proposing for the global south and the global east and even Europe and America. These are the multipolar architecture that I am proposing as a theologian of economics for the new global world economic order. Now, I was pleased that Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, attended the Brics Summit for 2024. I was pleased that a lot of nations applied and got it accepted as members. Eventually, BRICS, the name of BRICS will have to change because the way I see it, a lot of nations want to join this type of economical system. A lot of nations want to join. And they should all get accepted. There shouldn't be a waiting list. There shouldn't be a waiting time for people to join. As far as countries, they should all get enrolled. There shouldn't be a waiting list. Whatever nation in the third world or the developing world, whatever nation around the world wants to join economical system of the multipolar order, they should have the right to, in my opinion, immediately become members. And as far as the namesake, because BRICS stands for, the name stands for Brazil, Russia, India, and China and South Africa. But that name increments, the definition of the increments of BRICS has to change because the world is looking at it as a stigma, the namesake. They say, no, that's China, oh, that's Russia. They're trying to control the global order. That's what the West uses with the CIA and they convert disinformation. They start saying, oh, this is controlled by China. No. In reality, it's an organization of the third world uniting for a better way of economics, for a better way of rising the third world into first world status, economically speaking. So to do away with the stigma, because the other nations, when they join, they're going to think, oh, these are the few nations that control BRICS. The founder nations of BRICS are the ones that control BRICS. So to be all inclusive, as more members join BRICS, and as it keeps on growing, they should have a neutral name instead of the increments of the few countries that started BRICS. Because you don't want to give the impression that these few countries are the one that's controlling the organization. Because as members join, it will be all inclusive and equal when it comes to commerce. So we will have to come up with a new name for the organization of the Global South and the Global East. And eventually Europe will want to do business with the organization that's currently called BRICS. And America too. But they have to wait to let the Global South unite. We need time from the Western world order in order to let the Global South unite economically. Now, I know I said, every nation that joins should automatically enroll. and get accepted. Yes, but when it comes to this petrodollar and the Western influence to undermine certain members of BRICS, for that reason, the Western order shouldn't get accepted into BRICS. Maybe Turkey should get accepted, but as far as letting Western powers in, they can overwhelm the organization and try to take advantage of it economically. So for that reason, the Western order of economics should wait while the global South unites and becomes sovereignly independent when it comes to commerce. There needs to be a buffer between the Western economical order and the global South to let the global South collect itself as an organization, economical organization, and to build itself as an economical organization, as well as the Eastern Europe. And then when we're stabilized, because we already, as an organization, we're already richer than the G7. The global South is already richer. The BRICS is already, when it comes to trading, with global trading, the BRICS is already richer than the G7. But like I said, the third world needs time to build their infrastructures, to develop their production factories, their commerce, this takes time. So BRICS should allow all the countries of the global South to become members immediately. For all the countries of the global South to become members immediately, including Eastern Europe, for all of us to become members immediately, the global South and the global East. And then once we're stabilized, then we can trade equally with Europe. We can allow Europe to start having access to trading and bartering with the economics of the global South and the global East. Because the reason I feel this way is because I don't want America to use Europe to undermine the fragile BRIC organization by undermining the system of this multipolar order, economical order. So these initiatives, the central banks of each region, the central bank of the Caribbean and South America, the central bank of the whole of Africa, the central bank of the whole of Asia, the central bank of the whole of Arab lands, the central bank of Eastern Europe, they're suddenly multipolared, and they control their regional developments and their regional wealth. And they can barter with each other with computer sovereign accounts as they feel fit to set up their own computer accounts to barter with each other. And every nation's currencies are equal parity power. And to outlaw permanently the ability to sanction or tariff any nation. And no one nation's currency can peg any other currency like America has done to the world. So no one nation can have the ability to have their currency as the world currency. That's illegal. That's outlawed. So for right now, I believe that BRICS should indoctrinate as fast as possible the global south and the global east. So people that are signing up to join, nations that are signing up to join, they should immediately get enrolled in the global south multipolar system, including Turkey. Turkey should become members of Brics. But the rest of the European members and America, they shouldn't become members right away. They should have we BRICS needs a time, or the global south needs a time to set up these systems, to build our infrastructures, to build our manufacturing factories in the global south and in the global east. We need time to develop our regional resources as the global south and the global east in this multipolar world order. So for that reason, Eurozone and America can't become members, but they can still trade. They can still trade with the global south and the global east, but they can't become members. There had to be a long buffer before they are allowed to become members within this new multipolar order. They can do commodity trading with the global south and the global east and this BRIC organization. They can do trading, but they can't be members. The third world needs time for us to build our highways, our roads, our infrastructure, our energy plants, electrical grids, advanced technologies, tech technologies, and this multipolar global south and global east order. We need time to set up all of these advantageous economical evolutionary development adaptation to that our regions within the third world. So for that reason, the global south and the global east cannot allow Europe, the Eurozone, and America to be members, or the Western powers to be members, because it will undermine the system. So for that reason, there needs to be a buffer of them not being accepted in the global south and the global east economic as members. But that doesn't mean we can't trade commodities and goods with them. But we just need time in the global south and the global east to rise up this multipolar world order, and then to accept the Western powers in as members. We need time to guard this fragile organization that is rapidly expanding as far as the global south and the global east as a multipolar economic system. So we cannot allow meddling by accepting America or Western countries into the organization or into the union of this multipolar economic system. We need time, because if we indoctrinate the Western powers into the organization, they will try to take control of it for their own interests and set the rules up for their own interests. So for that reason, they shouldn't be allowed to be accepted into the BRICS organization, because it might undermine them. If they're enrolled as members, they will undermine the system and take charge of it for themselves. So for that reason, there needs to be a buffer, a firewall, and a waiting time before they are allowed to become members. So, but they can still do trading with the global south and the global east. So they will benefit from commerce by doing trading, but as non-members. The only one that's an exception is Turkey. They can become members. And as far as the BRICS Bank being located in China, that should be done away with and be replaced by central regional banks, the way I explained it already. The Caribbean and South America has their own sovereign central bank. The whole of Africa has their own sovereign central bank. The whole of Asia has their own central bank. The whole of the Arab lands have their central bank. The whole of Eastern Europe has their central bank. And these central banks are sovereignly independent. And they are affiliated in a multipolar order to help each other in each other's regions grow rapidly, to grow wealth, to grow infrastructure, to grow developments of advanced economic evolution of prosperity within their regions. So, like I said, I believe that to outlaw permanently the ability of inflicting on nations sanctions, tariffs, or embargoes that will be outlawed in the New World Order, economic order. And to make every nation's currency have the equal purchasing power permanently. Globally, every nation has the equal sovereign purchasing power when it comes to purchasing power parity. It will be legal to devaluate nations' currencies. So these are the initiatives as a theologian of economic. This is my theology. And there's other efforts that I'm working on to help evolve the global South and the global East. Now, like I said, this economic multipolar order is not anti-Western, but we just need time. The third world and the global South and the global East needs time to set up these systems. So for that reason, we can't indoctrinate America or the Western nations into the system, because they will quickly, if we do, they will quickly join and undermine the system for their own interests. So for that reason, we need to isolate ourselves from them being allowed to become members. But even though they're not members, they can do trading with us, with the global South and the global East. But they can't be members and they can't stipulate laws within the BRICS. And as far as the governing board of BRICS, the founding nations that started BRICS cannot have veto power with the rest of the members. So you know, like how the United Nations Security Council permanent members have veto power. So in BRICS, no nation has veto power. In other words, China can't have veto power with the rest of the members. Russia doesn't have veto power with the rest of the members. India doesn't have veto power with the rest of the members. South Africa doesn't have veto power with the rest of the members. In other words, all the members have equal voting rights to make up the rules of the global South. And no one member has veto power. Every nation, every member of BRICS have equal voting when they construct their laws, economical laws, or their economical structures. Every member of BRICS, every nation member has equal voting power, and no nation is allowed to have blocking power of veto. No nation has the authority to veto unilaterally. No nation has the power to veto unilaterally. Laterally. Excuse me. So when it comes for the organization of the Global South and the Global East, member state can propose any ideas they want. They can propose any stipulations that they might raise, and it all will get voted on unanimously. It takes unanimous votes to pass any new laws of commerce of this multipolar order, economic order. It takes 100% of the votes in order to set rules in motion. And no member state has authority to pick and choose the evolutionary laws of the Global South and the Global East totalitarianly. So even my amendments, my theories of what I'm explaining to you in this video, I can't impose it, but it can get voted on by the rest of the members unanimously. I can only give y'all my ideas for the evolution of the Global South and the Global East. Y'all will have to vote on it if y'all want to accept it or not. My ideas, my theories for evoluting and evolving the Global South and the Global East as an economic theologian. But I can't force my ideas on y'all. So my theology is that every country has their right to in their opinions, and they can vote on any ideas that they have to make laws in this multipolar economic system. But all votes are equal, and it has to be a unanimous vote before any laws are phased in, economical laws, when it comes to the Global South and the Global East under this multipolar economical order. And these are the stipulations, the theories that I have derived myself to propose it to Brics. I believe that Brics should accelerate the membership of the third world into this new multipolar economic system. Immediately, they should accept any applicant state into this organization from the third world of the Global South and the Global East. They should accept immediately any sovereign nation in the Global South and the Global East. If they want to join, they can get accepted immediately as members. There shouldn't be a waiting line. Cuba went to Brics to observe in the summit of 2024. Cuba should immediately get enrolled into Brics, and that goes for any third world nation within the Global South and the Global East. As far as membership goes, any sovereign nation within the Global South and the Global East that wants to join should get accepted immediately. And that way we can evolve rapidly, economically. And these are my opinions, my sole opinions, my amendments that I would like to put on the table of Brics for the members' considerations, the member states' considerations. So I believe my amendments will rapidly develop the economic multipolar world order of tomorrow within the global south and the global east. And yes, Western Europe would benefit from trading with our organization of the global south and the global east. But they can't be members for the reason that I fear that if they become members, they will set up the system in such a way that it will benefit them, and then they will capitalize on controlling the organization and undermine it for the global south and the global east by being allowed to pass laws that benefit their region and take control of the third world developments and stagnate it for their benefit. So for that reason, they're not allowed to become members, because I fear if they do, they will create laws to rapidly take over their organization and stifle the third world of the global south for their own interests. So for that reason, they shouldn't become members and have the right as members to undermine the system. So I just want to keep them excluded for the moment. Eventually, when the global south is situated under this multipolar economic system in the global east, once we're situated, then they can apply for membership, the Western powers. Because I believe that we should all sit at the table equally. And so for that reason, we need time to set up this system that would allow us to wean off of the unilateral system of America's hegemony over the world since Bretton Woods, with their World Bank, the IMF, the WTO, the SWIFT system, Moody's, the World Bank. That was all created by America under the Bretton Woods Summit. So for that reason, the Western powers are not allowed to become members of this multipolar order within Brics, because they will undermine and they will try to take over the organization if they're allowed to join. So for that reason, they have to be kept out into the global south. The third world can set up our systems of balance and checks and balance when it comes to our economic systems. So we can have everything structured before the West economic orders are allowed to become members. Because I fear, because of this, these system that exists from Bretton Woods, that America will then, if allowed to become members, they will start to take over the organization and then use it for their own self-interest. Because they have the advantages at this moment. They control the World Trade Organization, the International Monetary Fund, the SWIFT, the Moody's systems, the Brics, the World Bank, the Bank of Settlements. So for that reason, they will rapidly, if allowed to become members, they will undermine the Brics and then they will take it over, and that can't be allowed. Not at this time. The system of the third world, of the global south and the global east, needs to have time to structure our system and to be sovereignly separate from the world system that exists now. As far as America controlling and the Eurozone controlling the world order economically, we need to buffer our way from that in order to create our new world multipolar economic systems. But that doesn't mean we can't trade with them equally. That doesn't mean we can't sell them and buy from them. As far as the Eurozone and the United States and Canada and Australia. That doesn't mean we can't buy from y'all or sell to y'all. But you're not allowed to become members. Not at this time. The rest of the third world, of the global south and the global east, as far as membership, they should get accepted immediately when they apply. And it's, like I said, when it comes to the Western Alliance, economically, you can sell and buy, and your currencies will be considered equal purchasing power, parity. So you can sell and buy to the Brics, but and your currencies will be used with equal purchasing power amongst the members of Brics. So my mission statement is to contact the leaders, the sovereign leaders of the BRIC nations, to propose my amendments for the organization of the Global South and the Global East. So I will be dealing directly with the presidents, prime ministers of each nation, or the monarchies, leaders of nations, like to propose these bilateral accords. I will be proposing and negotiating with the heads of states of all the, the members of the Global South and the Global East within the BRICS organization. And as far as the stigma of the namesake, don't let the West undermine with stigmatizing this organization. Eventually, the namesake will change. It will be a neutral name that doesn't have the increments of the first letters of the first BRIC members. Because then the West will get the wrong impression that somehow these founding members control the organization. And like I said, the rest of the BRIC members, they all have equal rights as members. So the namesake has to change. The BRIC namesake has to change. It has to be given a different name. Because these few founding members can't be controlling the rest of the members. The rest of the members have equal voting and making laws, economical laws within the organization. So these founding BRIC members, the first founding BRIC members, can't control the whole organization. It has to be all inclusive. Every nation that joins has equal place at the table. Their vote counts. And in order for the Global South and the Global East to make laws of commerce within the organization, every nation has their equal vote, and it has to be a unanimous vote every time they pass laws, economical laws. Every nation has their equal votes, and it has to be all members unanimous when laws are passed. So these are my amendments. These are my amendments, my proposals to the organization of the Global South and the Global East. Y'all can ratify it or y'all can vote it down as equal members within the Global South and the Global East. I will be negotiating with heads of states within the Brics to make aware my amendments so they can vote it into the system if they desire, or keep it from becoming their initiatives. But these are my theology. This is my theology as an economical theologian. These are my proposals that I put on the table for the organization of the Global South and the Global East and the multipolar economic system. And another thing with the Global South and the Global East, we have to phase out gasoline. We have to phase it out. The Global South and the Global East have to adapt rapidly in electric, clean, renewable energies. Electrical, clean, renewable energy plants, the most advanced electrical systems of infrastructures of nations that are hurricane-proof, tornado-proof. So electrical grids, infrastructures that are hurricane-proof, tornado-proof, flood-proof, snow blizzard-proof. So imagine the cities of tomorrow and their electrical grid infrastructures that no matter what natural disaster hits, there will always be electricity. And then imagine the most advanced electrical plants and the most advanced electric cars. So this needs to be a priority, in my opinion, within the Brics. There has to be a number one priority economically. We have to do away with gasoline once and for all when it comes to vehicles. It's destroying the planet. You know how billions of tons of methane and octane and butane we done emitted into the air? It's stuck up there in the atmospheres, in the stratospheres. And it causes the sun to heat up the planet and causes more hurricanes, more tornadoes, stronger hurricanes, stronger tornadoes, stronger forest fires. It causes the glaciers in the Arctic to melt. Now we're going to lose land mass throughout the world in the coastal lines of the titanic regional territories around the planet. Coastal lines will be underwater. It causes holes in the ozone layers to bleed the sun, the heat of the sun, the temperature of the sun. It thermically heats up the planet. These fumes came out of the combustion engine. They're made to combust. And that's why the sun heats up our planet, because these fumes are stuck in the atmosphere, heating up the planet. These chemicals of gasoline are made to combust in an engine with a static ignition, and it creates fire. And so through the tailpipes of automobiles, says ever since we created the gasoline engine, it emits these exhaust fumes, methane, octane, butane, into the air. And it gets trapped in the atmospheres, and the sun heats it up rapidly. The sun heats it up rapidly. And that creates the greenhouse effect. So it's a matter of national security interests of the global world to phase out gasoline as fast as possible. So I look forward with working with the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres. I am pleased that he attended the summit in 2024, the Brics Summit. I will be reaching out to him periodically and keeping him abreast of the situations of the evolution of my participation within the BRICS organizations of the Global South and the Global East to phase in green renewable energies. I will only work with heads of states in my efforts within the Global South and the Global East, dealing directly with the presidents, prime ministers, or monarchies of member states. And I put my proposal on the table for consideration.